Hi folks, welcome to Fiber Me Happy. I'm Marcia, and fiber, generally in the form of yarn, does indeed make me happy. But today we're going to talk about fiber education. I am coming to you from a sunny but breezy and cool Prince Edward Island, which is located on the east coast of Canada. Today is Sunday, April 12th. I can't believe it's the middle of April already. Oh, holy crap. Anyway, if you watched my very first podcast episode that was aired on last Monday, then you'll know that I talked about working towards my professional knitting certification. And I am doing that through the Knitting Guild Association, which is located in the United States. And I want to talk to you about that today. So I have beside me my bin of goodies, which has all the yarns that I've purchased based on the gauge requirements and the yarn used as identified in my materials. And then I have some swatches. I have lots of swatches actually, so we'll go through them all. But I first wanted to just tell you a little bit about the Guild. And so I'm just going to read from my iPad here. They offer a membership for $40 a year, and that is $40 US. And with that comes access to their Cast On magazine, which offers patterns for women, men, children, babies, home decor, and more. It's considered an educational journal for knitters, issued digitally every quarter. You also get access to their Knit to TOG monthly newsletter, virtual guild meetings, which I have not attended yet, but I do plan to. Eligibility to enter their annual design contest, and member discounts at some of the best businesses in the industry, as well as TKGA's Circle community, which is kind of like a Discord community messaging app that you can access. It also says that you can access to sign up, which does have a fee, for the following activities, which are certification programs, educational courses and mini classes, and in-person retreats. So the reason that I signed up for a membership is because I am looking to get my certification. And the reason I want to get my certification is because I have a far out dream of someday owning my own yarn shop slash coffee shop. Don't we all have that dream? Really, I believe in manifestation, and I believe in having something to aspire to. So while this dream may never come to fruition, it certainly isn't going to if I don't try to take steps towards that. And my first thought when I think about owning my own yarn shop is being able to help people who come in and have questions. And so I thought that working towards my certification would be a good way to, ramp up my skills and be able to offer that assistance to anybody who might come into my future yarn store. So that's my main, motivation behind signing up and behind working towards my certification. Uh, the Guild also offers master hand knitting courses as well, which have a design aspect in them. So if you're interested in that, I think that's a good resource to look into. And they also offer teaching courses. So if you wanted to be a knitting teacher, which I might look into that eventually, but first I'm going to work towards my professional certification. So the professional certification is 3 levels, so I'm just on my level 1. You have a year to finish level 1, and I signed up in August, so I'm, the deadline is coming soon, and I have to admit I'm it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. You have to meet a very specific gauge for all the swatches, and there are 19 swatches and one pair of socks that have a short row heel that all have to be completed in that 1 year. Then there's also a problem solving section where out of the 19 swatches, there will have been some issues with some of the instructions. And so you have to try to identify those and offer fixes or corrections and whatnot. So, yeah, it's certainly, I guess my trouble is not that the swatches are hard to knit up. They're not, of course. It's meeting that gauge. And it's one thing when you're knitting a sweater for yourself and you don't meet gauge and then you apply some math to make it work. But in this, I can't do that. I'm required to meet gauge. So I first started with just some yarns that I had in my stash, and that I quickly realized wasn't going to work. I just was struggling right off the bat with meeting gauge. So I thought, why don't I just bite the bullet and buy the yarn that they're suggesting, which is all Knit Picks yarn. So let me go through that some with you so that you know what we're working with here. And I guess just as an example of the trouble I was having is these are some of the swatches. And yeah, these are swatches from my own yarn stash, not the Knit Picks yarn, except for these ones. Anyway, okay, so they have us using Knit Picks Swish. And they do recommend that you use light colors, so I've chosen all colors that appeal to me. Of course, for a worsted weight, Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. Then we've got Knit Picks Stroll. And, oh, Knit Picks Palette. Yeah, that's what I mean. And the last one was Wool of the Andes Sport. So those are the yarns that I'm working with. And so I've completed and match gauge for swatches 1 and 2. So I'll show you those. There's swatch 1, which is just basic stockinette. And oh, I meant to have that gauge ready for you so that you knew what it was. 18 stitches and 24 rows for 4 inches. So I did meet that on the stockinette. And then swatch number 2. Sorry, I don't have that sheet handy, so I won't go looking for it, but I did meet gauge. And it could be this way, maybe. I can't remember which way it goes. So those two I did meet gauge on, and that was all in Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, so the worsted weight. And so then I knit up swatch number 3, and I did not meet gauge on that. And then I knitted up again and did not meet gauge on that. So now this is the third time. Yes, third time with the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. Go here. And you can see there's cables in there. And I have not measured this yet. And I was going to try and do that with you, but that's not going to happen today. So hopefully for my next video, when I have swatches ready to measure, I will have the proper equipment and wherewithal to be able to shoot top down and show you how I measure. But you can see from the first 2 swatches, I've got some red yarns in there. That's all a requirement from the Knitting Guild in order to measure your gauge. And so then swatch number 4, we've moved on to the Wool of the Andes Sport. And so I haven't measured this either. And I will measure these before carrying on to swatch number 5. But you can see with 19 swatches and a pair of socks that I have a lot of work ahead of me, and I'm a little concerned that I'm not going to get it done. So my goal was to spend at least 1 hour a day going forward in either knitting the swatch or measuring the swatch. And on the weekends, trying to get at least one full swatch knit up per day. I think that's a pretty lofty goal. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull that off, but we'll try. We'll try. Um, I think that's really all that I wanted to say. I am going to put links and I will attach some screen caps of just some various portions of the Knitting Guild's website to show you what they offer. I, of course, I can't show you anything that is behind a membership wall. So there might not be a whole lot that I can share, but I do want to share the details of what the monthly membership costs, and I will likely screen cap what the professional knitting certification details are for you as well, so that you have more information. But by all means, check out the link that I will provide in the description below. This is not sponsored, by the way. I'm just doing this for my own personal reasons, and I'm sharing this because in case someone is interested in either joining the guild for just the $40 annual fee and using the benefits that they offer at that level, or if you are looking to further your knitting skills or career, then I think it's a good resource to use. I if you're in the States, it is a particularly good resource if you are looking for knitting communities. They have a list of knitting guilds for every state. Unfortunately, they don't offer an international list of guilds. And when I searched for Canadian guilds, I did find some in the bigger cities, but I went with this version because I am looking for that certification. So I don't know if the Canadian cities allow like outside memberships. That's actually something I should probably look into and bring you more information on in case you're a Canadian who's looking. But yeah, I hope that was helpful information for you anyway. And I hope that you have a great rest of your week. This will go up on Monday, April 13th. And so I hope you are able to add a healthy dose of fiber into your week. And take care. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.